Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. Now, before I get into the video, I am going to ask you all to please leave a like or comment on my video. Consider subscribing to my channel, and if you dislike the content, please leave a comment saying where it has gone wrong. Now, these are going to be what I'm going to call theoretical builds. The reason for it is quite simple. They are purely theoretical. They're based on a theoretical point of view on SP points. And when I say theoretical, I mean with the reallocation coming, the SP points can be anywhere. You can neglect a part of the ship and push it straight into weapons. You can neglect the weapons and push it all into the vessels itself. And that is the whole overall point of view which the SP redistribution allows. It makes the game a little bit more unpredictable and makes it more balanced overall. So let's go in with that point of view and see what we can change up in a theoretical version of this game. So let's make a shield tank with the Caracal Navy issue. Now it's going to be the first vessel that I'm going to mess with, so you're going to see that I'm first going to talk about making it into a shield build. Then you're going to see me altering the stuff to a balanced assault build. Then you're going to see me making a glass cannon Navy Caracal issue. And all three are going to be slightly different, but they will have aspects that are still the same. So parts of the build will remain exactly the same, even though they are different builds. So let's start off with our engineering in terms of navigation and power, so the mechanical section of the rigs. The first thing you're going to have is increase in velocity, and the second thing you're going to have is increase in recharge time, increased recharge per second. Now, the reason for these two being what you're going to use is number one, the increased velocity helps you tank more damage, and number two, the increase in capacitor regain allows you to recharge more. It makes the loss from the shield booster a lot less impactful. Now, moving up, the next rig is going to be our combat slot. Now, in the combat slot, because this is a defensive build, we are going to put plus 25% shield booster, and we are going to reduce the cost on the capacitor for using defensive ornaments or fittings. So doing that, there is now reducing that capacitor need even more, allowing us to use more of the capacitor for a longer period. So let's move up one more slot, and now we get to the low slots. Now I am going to go through the low slots themselves. Unlike the rigs, they aren't so confusing to go through, so I don't mind going into it. Now, the first thing that we're going to need is afterburner. Remember, speed helps you negate a lot of damage. So going straight down, let's go to the afterburners. Let's have a look at the price. Sorry, not the price. The bonus 153% speed. Now, as you saw, it was 234 by default. Adding the 50% from the standard research plus adding the reduction in capacitor from the research on the afterburner is now going to reduce all of this down even further. So it's going to be a much more lean and efficient build for moving around with the afterburner. The next thing to consider on this entire process is going to be what comes in on this entire build as we move forward. Now I'm just looking at the price quickly for a little bit of a reference, and it is only 34 million. 35 million at the max. Okay, so 35 million isn't that heavy of a cost. So let's think about it carefully. What is this going to do for us with that extra speed? It's going to allow us to take a lot less damage. So every time you get hit, you're taking a lot less damage, even though you're expanding that power to get more speed. So it is helping with the tanking. Plus, you've already increased speed so that the impact of any hit isn't as big as it regularly would be. Plus, with this increase, those impacts have become even smaller. Some of them are even zero at this point because you're too fast for them to actually damage you, provided you keep some range. Now, the next thing to put on your defense build is going to be your shield ornaments, your shield fittings. Now, a complete defense build will run all three shield fittings, same like any other type of fitting which you would put up. So first thing to go to is your shield booster. Your shield booster allows you to recover shield quickly in battle. So medium shield booster, first thing to view, let's see how much is our gain. Right, so it says that we gain 365 shield back every time it's activated. It activates every 6 seconds. Now, with maximum research on shield boosters, we reduce this activation time so it activates faster, and we reduce the cost on gigajoules for the system. So, from 164 gigajoules, you can expect it to drop down considerably once you have a mastered shield operation. Now, the next thing to think about in this whole world is going to be moving to your shield extender. Shield extenders extend the amount of shield that you have on your ship, and they can allow you some time to recover your shield in the middle of combat. It is a major advantage to have bigger shield extenders, and the longer the time, the better it is for you. So let's look at this one here. It gives you 2358. It lasts for 25 seconds. Now, with the 6-second reactivation and with the possible mastery of the skill, that means it possibly can activate 5 times in the time this hardener is active. That means that you get 5 regains of your shield. That is just over 1,000 shield points returned. So, provided your shield extender and your speed are fast enough, you can negate a lot of damage by using this technique. And that's just with a shield booster and a shield extender. Now, there is another way to negate damage and make yourself more tanky, and that's by adding shield hardeners. Now, there are two builds when it comes to shield hardeners, but I prefer using just the one shield hardener, that's the adaptive shield hardener. Now, this gives you the most amount of resistance, as you can see on the top. It actually adds to your shield resistance to EM. Now, penalty using more than one of this type of module or rig on a single ship will result in a penalty to the final effect. Sorry about that. So what this means is the overall impact of this device will be reduced if you double up this type of rig. So that means invulnerability fields. So if I add another invulnerability field, even if it's not adaptive, it is going to have a slight negative effect. So let's have a look at the top aspect of a reactive shield hardener. So adding the reactive shield hardener with the invulnerability field, you're getting somewhere near 50% reduction in damage from each of the damage types. However, putting them together results in a negative, so you are going to end up with a bigger negative overall. So that is why this isn't the very best. Even though it's 50% reduction, the shield extender always gives you more time to recover your shield, even though this means that you take less damage into your shield. The reduction in damage from this is less than half of what another shield hardener would have given you. It would most likely be more efficient to double the the adaptive shield hardener over adding a reactive and an adaptive. The negative from the adaptive is most likely going to end up being less harmful to your overall stats than the reactive's addition to your shield. So running a double adaptive shield hardener would be a better option, provided the penalty isn't greater than 50%. If the penalty is greater than 50%, then it's better to run the two in conjunction, even though I'm still of the opinion that running double adaptive would be better for you. So here's the whole thing. If you're going to run double of these, that means you're not going to run a shield hardener. But if you're going to run this with a shield hardener, that means that your shield is already getting a boost of a massive amount towards its resistance. Plus, it is gaining an additional shield which can come on for 25 seconds and tank more damage while you're recovering some of the shield that you've lost. So that is a three-way win for you, no matter how bad the battle looks. Now, moving up to your mid slot. Number one for your mid slot is to make sure that any enemy who comes too close loses power. So the first thing you're going to put on there in your mid slots for your Navy Caracal issue, I just want to double check that I'm right, that it's 3 slots. I'm actually 90% sure that it's 3 slots. I'm just double checking just to make sure that I'm not making a mistake. So in the 3 slots on your defensive build, you can do the following. 1 NOS energy drain, right? That is your first one. So if anything gets too close to you, you simply drain out the energy so you can keep recovering shield and keep your speed up. Number 2, 1 stasis webifier. Now the webifier is going to help you slow any vessel that gets too close to you so you can deal some damage. Generally, any ship that can close in on the cruiser is going to be way too fast for you to hit, just like a thing in general. So once you've slowed it down, your damage should massively increase against it. And last but not least, any tanky enemy who has that much of speed and is too close to you, a solid neutralizer will help you stop them from breaking through your defenses. Now let's just go into those items one by one. So your Predator Stasis Webifier reduces 61% of velocity. So that's a major slowdown on most vessels. It's going to allow you to hit right through the shields. And let's go to the energy drain. What is the gain from the highest level? You can take out 74 gigajoules from the enemy every time it activates. It activates every 5 seconds. And what is the lowest one here? The pair 5 seconds, 70 gigajoules. So is it a worthwhile? 4 gigajoules is every 5 seconds. Not really that big of a difference. It is worth it, and yeah, you could use it. It's an okay addition. Now moving on with all of this, I said an energy neutralizer. Now these energy neutralizers are very effective against other ships which are running high-end power usage systems. They stop them from hardening and they stop them from extending too many times in a row. Now what this is going to allow you to do is activate every 12 seconds, and you are going to neutralize 220 gigajoules of the capacitor. Now in 12 seconds, most of the ships don't even recover 120 gigajoules. That means that they lose 100 gigajoules every 12 seconds, regardless of how much their regain is. So you can stop a ship from using defense completely if you have this on and you are in a close enough range. You can even stop them from being able to activate micro warp drives or afterburners to get away from you. Very effective in combat and a very effective means of getting your way in battle. So those are the 3 slots that you're gonna equip in mid slot. And as for a drone, it can be any one of the medium class drones. A thermal or a kinetic would be the best to slot on your ship for overall damage. An EM drone will be the best if you're going up against any shield tanking enemies, and an explosive drone if you're going up against armor tanking enemies. Okay, so for your high slots, now since this is a tank build, the one thing that you want to do is keep yourself as far away from the combat as possible. So I'm going to go straight for a missile launcher over a rapid missile launcher. You don't want to get too close. Getting too close is a chance of you getting webified and getting hit. So the shield is the best used to keep you out of direct combat. So for this, you're going to be using the Type C medium missile launcher. It's going to give you your best range, and this is where you're going to be able to set throughout your battle. Reload time every 10 seconds, flight time 6 seconds. So let's see, what's the velocity? 81 meters per second. So let's see, how far is it going to go? 81 times 6, 4. No, that's explosion velocity, not flight velocity. Okay, now I don't know exactly the calculation on it, but what this is going to allow you to do is expand the radius on which you're firing at. And the faster it hits, the better it is for dealing damage overall. And this is going to get you that nice long range on most of your combat, with it also being high enough in damage for it to give you that beautiful sweet spot in damage for your defense. It's also going to allow you to stay out of combat for the most part, and only anything that closes too close is going to pose a threat to you. So this is how you would go about building up a defensive build on a Navy Caracal. Now this is going to be my first of the theoretical builds, and I'm not yet done with this build. Now talking about this build, I've so far explained what you needed in terms of equipment. I haven't explained anything in terms of the research. Now, your basic research in cruisers is going to be there. That's command. You're going to have your full all the way to advanced complete. Expert, you might want to put it in, but not really for command. The next one in the slot is going to be engineering. You're going to want to have it all the way to advanced. The advanced is going to give you a lot better power regain and a lot better capacitor on your vessels. Okay, going beyond that, the next thing in that research is going to be your overall defense. Now, this is one that you might think of taking all the way into expert. That means closer to the end of T7, you will have an expert defense on your vessel. Now, moving forward for your weapons, on both of your medium missile stats, that regular medium missiles and upgrade medium missiles, an advanced level research would be very beneficial to you, giving you just that perfect balance of power for all of the speed and all of the research that you already have. Now, going on to build up your shield and your speed. If you are going to be doing this, you're going to be taking speed to either expert level or to advanced level. Now, advanced level is more than likely where you're going to be, and it is going to help you the most in terms of combat. Now, moving on, the next thing is going to be shield hardener and shield booster. Both of them should be advanced, or one of them should be an expert level skill to reduce the cost of capacitor so that you can use them more frequently in battle. All of this will give you the best possible shield tank that you can have. And let's say that it's theoretically to go up against someone who has full damage builds, considering your range and the fact that they're going to have to come in a little bit closer, provided they're using the most lethal version of weapons, which is going to be rapid missile launchers or a torpedo launcher, they're going to come in a lot closer than is needed, and you're going to be able to damage them. Provided they're running a glass build, you have the advantage. And that is the way that it will go. The mid build will always favor whichever side has the mid base build will always beat either one of the extreme builds, while either one of the extreme builds will always hold a chance of victory over the other depending on which one has better research. Okay, so that is all that there is to explain for this. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and in the description below you will find a link to my Teespring store. If you do feel like it, I would appreciate your support. It's not necessary, but if you'd like to, you can go for it as well. So thank you for watching. Have a good day.